The great hall on Velen Prime was filled with creatures from 1,000 worlds. They came in all shapes and sizes. Some had scales, some had fur, some floated in tanks of water. But today they all talked about the same thing. They talked about Earth. Ambassador Talus stood at the center of the hall. His gray skin shimmered under the lights as he pointed to a large screen. The screen showed a blue planet spinning slowly in the darkness of space. 300 years, Talus said. His voice was tired. 300 years of silence. We have sent messages, we have sent ships, we have sent gifts. The humans answer nothing. The council members whispered to each other. Some laughed. Others looked worried. Perhaps they are dead, said Fleet Admiral Torek. He was a large creature with 4 arms and a face like a hammer. Perhaps they destroyed themselves. Primitive species often do. They are not dead, Talus replied. He changed the image on the screen. It showed satellite pictures of Earth's surface. Look, their cities still exist, but they have gone dark. No lights, no energy signals, nothing we can detect. Then they have gone backward, Torek said. They have become animals again. This is good. We should go and take their world. It is a beautiful planet. It would make a fine colony. Many council members nodded. Earth was indeed beautiful. Blue oceans, green forests, perfect gravity, perfect air. It was a rare jewel in a galaxy full of dead rocks. But Talus shook his head. We do not know what happened to them. We should be careful. Torek laughed. It was an ugly sound. Careful? Of primitives? You forget, Ambassador. We are the Galactic Council. We rule 1,200 worlds. What can one small planet do to us? Far away on that small planet, Admiral Park Do-hyun sat in a room deep underground. He was an old man with gray hair and hard eyes. He had been a soldier for 50 years. He had trained his whole life for a war that had not yet come. But it was coming. He could feel it. Captain Kang has returned, said a young officer at the door. Park nodded. Send her in. Captain Kang Jisoo walked into the room. She was 40 years old, but she looked younger. Her face was calm, but Park could see the tension in her shoulders. She had been in space for 6 months, flying the stealth ship called Whisper. Her job was to watch the aliens without being seen. She was very good at her job. What did you find? Park asked. Kang sat down across from him. They voted this morning. The Council has decided to send a fleet to Earth. They are calling it the Enlightenment Fleet. They say they want to help us. Park almost smiled. Almost. Help us, like they helped us 300 years ago. Neither of them needed to say more. Every human knew the story. Every human remembered. 300 years ago, the Galactic Council had sent a probe to Earth. They called it a greeting, a gift. The probe was supposed to teach humans about the galaxy. Instead, it exploded in the atmosphere. The explosion created a wave of energy that killed every electronic device in the Pacific region. Power grids failed. Hospitals went dark. Planes fell from the sky. 2 million people died in one day. The Council sent a message afterward. They said it was an accident. They said it was unfortunate. They said humans should join the Council anyway, and all would be forgiven. Forgiven. As if humans were the ones who needed forgiveness. Earth's leaders had met in secret. They made a decision. They would not join. They would not fight. They would go silent. They would hide. They would watch. They would learn. And they would prepare. For 300 years, humanity had lived underground. They built cities beneath the surface. They developed new technology in secret. They watched every alien transmission. They learned every alien language. They mapped every alien weakness. And they waited. Now, sitting in his underground office, Admiral Park looked at a wall covered with plans. Plans for ships. Plans for weapons. Plans for a war that Earth had never wanted but had always expected. How many ships? He asked. 400, Kang replied, from 12 different species. They will arrive in 3 weeks. Park closed his eyes. 400 ships. The Council thought this was enough to conquer a primitive world. They had no idea what was waiting for them. He opened his eyes and pressed a button on his desk. A face appeared on the screen. It was Dr. Yoon Hana, the lead scientist of Project Silence. "Doctor," Park said, "it is time. Wake everything up." Yoon's face was serious. "Are you sure? Once we reveal ourselves, there is no going back." "They made the choice," Park said. "Not us. We gave them 300 years to leave us alone. They did not listen. Now they will learn." He stood up and walked to the wall of plans. He touched one of them gently. It showed a design for a field generator, a machine that could disable all alien technology within a certain range. "Tell the people," he said quietly. "Tell them the waiting is over. Tell them to prepare." Kang stood up. "And what should I tell the fleet commanders?" Park turned to look at her. For the first time in many years, there was something like fire in his old eyes. "Tell them to get ready. The aliens think they are coming to teach us. But we are the ones who will teach them. We will teach them why they should have left Earth alone." Outside, deep beneath the surface of the Enlightenment fleet, was the largest force the Council had sent anywhere in 50 years. 400 warships moved through space like a swarm of metal insects. Each ship was bigger than a mountain. Each ship carried enough weapons to destroy a city. Fleet Admiral Torek stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Hammer of Justice. He looked at the blue planet growing larger on his screen. Earth, such a small world, such primitive people. This would be easy. "Open a channel," he ordered. "Broadcast to the planet." His communications officer obeyed. Torek straightened his uniform and spoke in a loud voice. "People of Earth, I am Fleet Admiral Torek of the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We come to bring you into the family of civilized species. You will lower any defenses you have. You will prepare to receive our representatives. You will obey all instructions given to you. Resistance is not recommended. Cooperation will be rewarded." He smiled. It was a good speech, strong but fair. The primitives would be scared. They would surrender immediately. He waited for a response. Nothing came. "Perhaps their equipment is too primitive to receive our signal," said his second-in-command. Torek nodded. "Broadcast again. Use all frequencies." They broadcast again, and again, and again. Still nothing. Torek felt anger rising in his chest. How dare they ignore him? Did they not understand who he was? Did they not see the 400 ships coming toward their little world? "Fine," he growled. "If they will not answer, we will make them answer. All ships, move forward. We enter their system now." The fleet moved past the edge of the solar system. They passed the distant ice planets without stopping. They passed the gas giants. They approached the asteroid belt, and then something strange happened. "Admiral," said the sensor officer. His voice was confused. "I am losing long-range sensors." "What do you mean, losing?" "They are going dark. One by one. I cannot see anything beyond 10,000 kilometers." Torek frowned. "A malfunction. Fix it." "I am trying, Admiral, but it is not just sensors. Communications are failing too. I cannot reach the other ships." Now Torek felt something he had not felt in many years. He felt fear. "Navigation!" he barked. "Status?" The navigation officer turned to him with wide eyes. "Sir, all navigation systems are offline. I do not know where we are. I do not know which way is forward." Torek grabbed the arms of his chair. This was impossible. His ship was the finest in the fleet. Its systems were the most advanced in the galaxy. They could not just fail, but they were failing. All around him, lights flickered. Screens went dark. The great engines that pushed the ship through space fell silent. The Hammer of Justice, the mightiest warship in the Galactic Council, was now just a piece of metal floating in the void. Deep underground on Earth, Dr. Yoon Hana watched her screens with quiet satisfaction. Around her, hundreds of technicians worked at their stations, monitoring the field that now covered the entire solar system. "Project Silence is at full power," she reported. "All alien technology within the field has been neutralized." Admiral Park stood beside her, watching the same screens. "And our technology?" "Unaffected. The field only targets non-human designs. Our ships, our weapons, our communications, all working perfectly." Park nodded slowly. "Then it is time. Signal Captain Kang. Tell her to begin." In the darkness of space, something moved. It was small. It was fast. It was completely invisible to any alien sensor. The stealth ship Whisper emerged from behind an asteroid, followed by 200 more ships just like it. They had been hiding here for weeks, waiting for this moment. Now they spread out through the alien fleet like ghosts. Captain Kang sat in her command chair, watching the helpless alien ships drift past her. They looked like sleeping giants. Their lights were off. Their weapons were cold. Their crews were probably terrified. "Good," she thought. "Now they know how we felt." Her communications officer spoke. "Captain, Admiral Park is ready to transmit. Put it through. All frequencies." For the first time in 300 years, a human voice spoke to the galaxy. "This is Admiral Park Do-hyun of the United Earth Defense Force." His voice was calm and cold. "Your ships have entered human space without permission. Your technology has been disabled. You are helpless. You have 20 hours to surrender your vessels and submit to human custody. If you do not surrender, we will take your ships by force. If you resist, you will die. There will not be a second warning." On the bridge of the Hammer of Justice, Fleet Admiral Torek heard these words through a small emergency speaker, the only system still working on his ship. He laughed. "Surrender? To primitives? Never." He turned to his crew, who huddled in the darkness around him. "They are bluffing. Our engineers will fix the systems. We will crush them." His engineers worked through the night. They tried everything. They replaced parts. They rewired circuits. They prayed to their gods. Nothing worked. The 20 hours passed slowly. Torek watched the time counting down on a small mechanical clock, one of the few things that still worked. When the time ran out, he heard a sound he would never forget. It was the sound of his airlock opening. The corridors of the Hammer of Justice were completely dark. No lights, no power, no sound, except the breathing of frightened alien soldiers hiding in corners and behind doors. Sergeant Moon Hee-jin moved through the darkness like she was born in it. Her night vision goggles turned everything green. She could see every alien before they could see her. Behind her, 12 more soldiers followed in perfect silence. They found a group of alien soldiers hiding in a storage room. The aliens held weapons, but the weapons were useless. No power meant no shooting. Moon stepped into the room. She did not raise her weapon. "Put down your guns," she said in perfect alien language. She had learned it years ago, just like every human soldier. "We will not hurt you if you surrender." One alien, braver than the others, charged at her with a knife. Moon stepped to the side, grabbed his arm, and put him on the ground in less than 2 seconds. She did not break any bones. She did not draw blood. She simply held him there until he stopped struggling. "I said we will not hurt you," she repeated. "But you will come with us. Now." One by one, the aliens dropped their weapons. This scene happened 400 times across 400 ships. Human boarding teams moved through the fleet with speed and precision. They knew the layout of every ship type. They knew where the crews would hide. They knew everything. In less than 6 hours, every ship was captured. Every alien was in custody. Not a single shot was fired. Fleet Admiral Torek was the last to surrender. He was found on his bridge, sitting in his command chair, staring at nothing. When Sergeant Moon approached him, he looked up with empty eyes. "How?" he whispered. "How did you do this?" Moon looked at him for a long moment. Then she spoke. "You had 300 years to ask us nicely. You did not." She put restraints on his wrists and led him away. The news reached the Galactic Council within hours. They watched footage of their mighty fleet being dismantled by creatures they had called primitive. They saw their greatest admiral being led away in chains by a small human woman. Panic spread like fire. "This is impossible," said Ambassador Tallis, watching the footage for the 10th time. "They had no ships, no technology. How could they do this?" "It does not matter how," said another council member. "What matters is what they will do next. Will they attack us? Will they take revenge?" Before anyone could answer, the screens in the council chamber flickered. A new face appeared. A human face. Ambassador O Minho looked at the council with calm eyes. He was 60 years old. His hair was white. His face carried scars from old wounds. 20 years ago, he had been captured during a reconnaissance mission. He had spent 5 years as a prisoner before escaping. He knew alien cruelty better than anyone. Now he spoke for all of Earth. "Leaders of the Galactic Council," he began. "My name is O Minho. I am the ambassador of the United Earth Government. I speak to you today not as an enemy, but as a neighbor." He paused, letting his words sink in. "For 300 years we asked only one thing, to be left alone. You refused. You sent a fleet to force us into your council. That fleet now belongs to us. Your soldiers are our prisoners. Your Admiral Torek will stand trial for invasion of sovereign space." Murmurs filled the council chamber. Some members looked angry. Others looked terrified. O continued. "Earth has no interest in conquest. We do not want your worlds. We do not want your resources. We do not want your power. We want only to live in peace on our own terms." "Then what do you want?" Tallis asked, his voice shaking. "3 things," O replied. "First, you will recognize Earth as a sovereign power, equal to any member of your council. Second, you will pay reparations for the 2 million lives lost in your first contact incident. Third, you will never again send ships into our space without permission." "And if we refuse?" another council member asked. O's expression did not change. "Then we will return your fleet to you, one piece at a time." The threat hung in the air like a blade. After a long silence, Tallis spoke. "We will discuss your terms." "You have 1 week," O said. "Choose wisely." The screen went dark. The council argued for hours. Some wanted to accept the terms. Some wanted war. Some wanted to run away and never look at Earth again. In the end, they chose none of these things. In secret, a small group of council members met in a private chamber. They were the war faction. They believed the council should rule all species, including humans. They would not accept defeat. "We cannot attack them directly," one said. "Their field disables our technology. But the field has limits. It only covers their solar system." "What are you suggesting?" "We gather every ship we have. We position them outside the field's range. And we destroy Earth from a distance. Planet-killing weapons. They will not even see them coming." The others nodded slowly. It was risky. It was extreme. But it might work. "How long will it take?" one asked. 3 months. We will call it a defensive gathering. The humans will not suspect." They shook hands. The plan was set. But they did not know that Captain Kang's stealth ships were everywhere. They did not know that human listening devices had been planted in council stations years ago. Within 24 hours, Admiral Park knew everything. He looked at the intelligence report for a long time. Then he called a meeting of Earth's War Council. "They want to destroy us from a distance," he said. They think we cannot reach them outside our field. Can we? Asked Commander Yeo Tai Yang, leader of Earth Special Forces. Park turned to Dr. Yoon. She smiled. Show them, Park said. Yoon pressed a button. A new image appeared on the screen. It showed 600 sleek ships hidden in the asteroid belt. Project Horizon, she said. Our own faster-than-light fleet. We built them using alien technology we captured and studied over the centuries, but we made them better. Park looked at his commanders. The Council thinks they are safe because they are far away. We will show them that nowhere in this galaxy is far enough. He stood up. Prepare for Operation Dawn. We strike first. Humans were coming aboard, and there was nothing he could do to stop them. Machines that had slept for centuries began to wake. Lights came on in hidden factories. Ships that had never flown began their final preparations. Earth had been silent for 300 years, but the silence was about to end. The Council's war fleet gathered at a place called Corvin Station, a massive space fortress 12 light years from Earth. 2,000 warships floated in the darkness around it. They carried weapons that could crack planets open like eggs. Admiral Torek's replacement, Fleet Admiral Voss, stood on the station's command deck. He was older than Torek and more careful. He had studied what happened to the Enlightenment fleet. He would not make the same mistakes. We stay here, he told his officers. We do not enter their field. We fire from this distance. Our weapons will take 2 weeks to reach Earth, but the humans will have no defense against them. By the time they see the attack coming, it will be too late. His officers agreed. It was a good plan. A safe plan. They began loading the planet killers into launch tubes, giant missiles, each one carrying enough destructive power to burn away an atmosphere or crack a continent in half. They had never been used before. No one had ever needed to destroy an entire planet. But Earth was special. Earth had humiliated the Council. Earth needed to die. All weapons will be ready in 6 hours, reported the weapons officer. Voss nodded. Good. In 6 hours, we end the human problem forever. He did not know that his words were being heard 12 light years away. In the asteroid belt of Earth's solar system, Engineer Choi Soo-jin stood in the hangar of the carrier ship Dawn's Light. Around her, 600 Horizon-class attack ships waited in perfect rows. Each one was small, fast, and deadly. Each one could travel faster than light and appear anywhere in the galaxy without warning. She had spent 20 years building these ships. They were her children. Now they would go to war. Admiral Park's voice came through the speakers. All pilots, this is Admiral Park. The enemy is preparing to destroy our world. They think they are safe because they are far away. They think we cannot reach them. They are wrong. In her cockpit, Captain Kang listened to the Admiral's words. She would not be flying today. Her job was intelligence, not combat. But she watched as 200 pilots climbed into their ships. At the front of the formation was pilot Shin Dong-hae, the best pilot in the fleet. Your mission is simple, Park continued. Stop the attack. Destroy their ability to launch those weapons. Capture or eliminate their command structure. Do not let a single planet killer leave that station. Shin's voice came through the radio. Understood, Admiral. We will not fail. Park paused. Then he spoke again, softer this time. 300 years ago, they killed 2 million of our people and called it an accident. Today, they plan to kill 8 billion more. We did not start this war, but we will finish it. Good luck, pilots. Come home safe. The hangar doors opened. Stars filled the view. One by one, the Horizon ships launched into space. They formed up in perfect formation. Then, in a flash of light that bent space itself, they were gone. At Corvin Station, the first warning came too late. Admiral! Shouted a sensor officer. Multiple contacts appearing. They came from nowhere. Voss spun toward the screen. His blood went cold. 200 human ships materialized in the middle of his fleet. They were small, barely visible against the larger Council warships, but they moved with impossible speed. "Open fire!" Voss screamed. "All ships, open fire!" His fleet tried to respond, but the human ships were already among them, weaving between the larger vessels like insects around elephants. The Council ships could not shoot without hitting each other. Shin led the first attack wave toward the station itself. "Alpha Team, target the launch tubes. Beta Team, take out the command tower. Gamma Team, hit their engines. Nobody leaves." Missiles streaked through space. Explosions bloomed across the station's surface. One by one, the launch tubes that held the planet killers were destroyed. Voss watched his fleet die around him. "How is this possible?" he whispered. They were primitive. They had nothing. On the dawn's light, Dr. Yoon watched the battle through long-range sensors. "The station's weapons are disabled," she reported. "The planet killers are destroyed. The fleet is breaking apart." Admiral Park nodded. "Tell Commander Yeo to begin the boarding operation." 20 troop transports detached from the carrier and raced toward the station. Commander Yeo Taiyang led the assault personally. His soldiers cut through the station's defenses like a knife through paper. They found Fleet Admiral Voss hiding in his quarters. He had a weapon pointed at his own head. "Stay back!" he shouted. "I would rather die than be captured by primitives." Yeo did not slow down. He crossed the room in 3 steps, knocked the weapon away, and pinned Voss to the wall. "You were going to kill 8 billion innocent people," Yeo said quietly. "You do not get to choose an easy death." Outside, the battle ended as quickly as it had begun. The human fleet had destroyed or disabled 1,400 Council ships. Human losses, 23 vessels. Less than 50 human lives lost. The survivors of the Council fleet tried to flee. Some managed to escape into faster-than-light travel, but most did not. Most drifted helplessly in space, waiting to be captured. Among the prisoners was a Council diplomat named Mirren. He had opposed the war from the beginning. Now he watched the humans treating wounded alien soldiers, giving them medical care, and keeping them safe. "Why are you helping us?" he asked a human medic. "We tried to destroy your world." The medic looked at him with strange eyes. They were not angry eyes. They were sad. "Because we are not like you," she said. "We do not kill because we can. We kill because we must. And when we do not have to kill, we do not." She finished treating his wounds and moved on to the next patient. Myron sat in silence for a long time. He had spent his whole life believing humans were primitive, dangerous animals. Now he saw the truth. They were not animals. They were something far more frightening. They were better. From the dawn's light, Ambassador O broadcast his final message to the galaxy. "We told you there would be no third fleet. We meant it. The war is over. Surrender now, or watch everything you have built burn." The surrender came 3 days later. Ambassador Tallis delivered it personally. He stood before the Galactic Assembly, the same hall where he had once laughed about primitive humans, and spoke words that had never been spoken in the Council's 10,000-year history. The Galactic Council accepts Earth's terms. We recognize humanity as a sovereign power. We will pay reparations for the first contact incident. We will never enter human space without permission. The war is over. His voice broke on the last words. Around him, representatives of 1,200 species sat in stunned silence. Their mighty council had been brought to its knees by a single planet, by people they had once considered less than animals. On Earth, people watched the surrender on screens in their underground cities. They did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They had waited 300 years for this moment. Now that it was here, they felt only tired relief. Admiral Park watched the broadcast from his command center. Commander Yeo stood beside him. "What now?" Yeo asked. Park was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached up and removed the rank insignia from his uniform. He placed them in Yeo's hand. "Now you take over," he said. "I built a sword for 300 years. I taught our people how to fight. But fighting is finished now. Your job is making sure we never have to use that sword again." Yeo looked at the insignia in her hand. They felt heavier than they looked. "I will do my best, sir." Park smiled. It was a rare thing, that smile. Yeo had only seen it a few times in 20 years. "I know you will." He walked out of the command center. He never came back. Dr. Yoon continued her work, but it changed. She was no longer building weapons. Instead, she began sharing technology with alien species that had defected from the Council during the war. These were the species that had refused to attack Earth, even when ordered. They became humanity's first real allies. "Why help them?" asked one of her assistants. "They could become a threat someday." Yoon shook her head. "We spent 300 years building walls. Now we need to build bridges. Fear kept us alive. Trust will help us live." Captain Kang was promoted to lead Earth's new intelligence service. Her job was to watch the galaxy, to listen for threats, to make sure humanity was never caught off guard again. But her orders were different now. "Find friends," President Han Yuri told her. "Find species that want peace. Find the ones who were bullied by the Council, just like we were. Bring them to us." Kang nodded. She had spent 15 years hiding in the shadows, watching and waiting. Now she would step into the light. Ambassador O became the face of humanity to the galaxy. He traveled to 100 worlds in the first year alone. He spoke to leaders and common people. He told them Earth's story. "We were silent for 300 years, he said in every speech. Not because we were weak, not because we were afraid. We were silent because we hoped you would learn to see us as equals without force. You did not learn, so we taught you. The lesson was hard, but the lesson is over now. What comes next is up to all of us." Some species did not trust his words. They expected humans to demand more. They expected humans to conquer, to enslave, to take revenge. That was what the Council would have done. But Earth asked for nothing more than it had already received: recognition, respect, peace. This confused the galaxy, and confusion slowly turned into something else, something that looked like respect. Years passed. Trade routes opened between Earth and alien worlds. Alien ships visited Earth's surface for the first time, welcomed as guests instead of invaders. Human ships traveled the galaxy, exploring and learning and making friends. The Council still existed, but it was different now. Weaker, more careful. Many species had left to form their own alliances. Some of those alliances included Earth. President Han stood on an orbital station high above Earth, watching ships from a dozen species arrive for a diplomatic conference. The planet below was beautiful. Blue oceans, green forests, cities that now rose above the ground again, no longer hiding. "We did it," she said quietly. "We survived." Beside her, the former counselor Miren watched the same view. He had become an unofficial ambassador to Earth, helping humans understand alien cultures. "You did more than survive," he said. "You changed everything. Before you, the strong ruled the weak. That was the only law. Now there is a new law. Now the strong must answer for what they do." Han looked at him. "Is that a good thing?" Miren thought about it for a long time. "Yes," he said finally. "Yes, I think it is." The conference lasted 3 days. Agreements were signed. Friendships were made. Old enemies became new partners. On the last day, a transport ship arrived carrying visitors from a distant world. Among them was a family of aliens who had never seen Earth before. Their child, a small creature with bright eyes, pressed against the window and stared at the blue planet below. "What is that place?" the child asked. The parent looked down at Earth, at the planet that had been silent for 300 years. at the world that had defeated the greatest power in the galaxy and then asked for nothing but peace. "That is Earth," the parent said softly. "The humans live there." "Are they dangerous?" the child asked. "Very dangerous. They are patient. They are clever. And they do not forget." The child thought about this. "Are they our enemies?" The parent watched a human shuttle glide past their window. Inside, a human pilot waved at them. The child waved back. "No," the parent said. "They are our teachers, and we should be very good students." The child did not understand, but one day, when they were older, they would. One day, they would tell their own children about the species that waited in silence for 300 years, and then taught the galaxy what it meant to be truly strong. Below them, Earth turned slowly in the light of its star, blue and green and white, small and quiet and peaceful, and no longer silent. Across the galaxy, council leaders listened, and for the first time in their long history, they began to understand fear.